Hey, well, welcome to my 3 hour speech impediment A-Thon. It is said by wise people just to start, and I have to admit this start has been somewhat shaky. I've never done this before, and so I didn't estimate the the wavelength of time it would take to set it all up. So here I am, a few minutes late. Have you ever started? Thanks for the love. Have you ever started something new and and just not knowing exactly how to do it? So it was kind of shaky at the beginning. That's definitely what this is, and I believe in studying new things and exploring new things because it's such a so much a part of life and growth, but it is kind of disconcerting in the beginning. Like right now, I'm fumbling around with StreamYard, even though I've done it many times, and I'm excited to get the first comment. Who wants to comment first? Any comment will do. Who wants to be celebrated as having the first comment in the speech impediment A-Thon? Any comment, please, comment. Yeah, I see one. I see one. Oh my gosh, I have a comment. Why am I doing? I'm doing two things at once. Okay, I have a Hmm. I want to do that, and then I want to do this. Okay. So Jennifer Gerald says, "Woohoo! You got this!" And Jennifer, thanks for being in it so fortuitous that you're the first one to comment because oh my gosh, it's so I wasn't born thinking, oh, I'll do a 3 hour speech impediment A-Thon. It's people like Jennifer and Bob Donnell and so many of my friends who are inspiration in action. Like, for example, the first time I talked to Jennifer, my friend Steve Tillman, we were all walking on a beach with his dog in San Diego, and he's like, "Oh, we should call Jennifer." And she's kind of interested in your work, and I'm like, "Oh, you know, okay." And so we did, and Jennifer's like, I'm inspired by your message, and I want to write a song for you, and you know when you're talking to someone you just met, you don't know how much they'll follow through or anything like that. Well, this is that Jennifer, and so she's not only wrote the song she was talking about for me, not only is it beautiful, not only has she sung it to groups and inspired them, Not only has she recorded an album, she's also a best-selling author many times over. She speaks to groups. It's just amazing. So we don't grow into the best. We can become alone. We It's all about community. Bob Daniels is always perfect, brother. Speaking of someone who inspires the heck out of me every day, Bob had he like lots of people he's been close to throughout his life have tragically passed away. He has so many reasons. Bob has so many reasons he could be bitter at life and just say, I'm going to do the least amount possible and just get by. But that's not the path Bob has chosen. Bob is he he's all around and inspiring small groups and large audiences, inspiring people to communicate better and just inspiring and taking a stand for the best in humanity and 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 showing appreciation to people, including police officers and policemen, who often don't get as much appreciation as they should. But Bob has helped me so tremendously. Thank you, brother. Abby Pagoni, you inspire people to be brave and to take the first step. Okay, before I tell you more about Abby, and I should call her Mrs. Pagoni in a sec. I'll tell you why. So you're going to see me take drinks out of my water bottle, and it's not elegant, but I don't want to spill on my computer. So this is what we've got. So Abby Pagoni, Mrs. Pagoni rather. I've known her since I was in grade school. She taught me computer class like when I was in second and third grade. And see, Mrs. Pagoni, I learned I'm doing this 3 hour speech impediment A-Thon on a computer. Thank you. I learned. Thank you. And I just got a chance to visit with her recently, and she has a wonderful sense of humor and wonderful stories. Thanks for being you. D- um, Davey, before I show you out, I want to talk little bit about why I'm doing this. But I'll come back to you, Davey. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this for many reasons. I mean, some of them are I'm not going to. I'll just count them, but then no special order. One, I know one. That's two. That's two. So just one. I know what it's like to play small in life, to feel intimidated by life, to feel so afraid, to feel beaten down. And I know what it's like to be bullied. I know what it's like to be bullied. Does anyone have any guesses who by far the worst bully of my life was? Anyone? So I mean this game works better with a live audience, but I've been the by far the most vicious bully to myself that I ever knew. Yeah, Mike. I can't call you Michael. Mike Evans, who I've known since eighth grade, got itself. Yeah, the I've been the most vicious to me. I mean, far more vicious to myself than anyone else has been to me. And um and so part of the speech impediment A-Thon, part of the A-Thon idea is going beyond with the voices in our heads that limit us, tell us we can and can't do. Like so a new friend told me that this was speech impediment day. And actually, I just googled it, and I can't find it on Google. So I actually don't know like where she got the information, but I love. In any case, it's speech impediment day now, and so that was the impetus. Like, what was a better way to celebrate speech impairment day by attempting something I've never done with my voice before, attempting an A-Thon. Like a few years ago, I did a walk-a-thon. Did two actually. One where I walked 30 miles in one day, and one where I walked 26 miles in one day. And so as I talk, I invite you to be thinking about your own life. And what do you want to do in your life that you've never done before? That there's some voices within you that are going, you're not going to do that. What are some of those things? And I ask you this not I mean, think of the things you personally want to do in your life that you don't think you can do. I mean, there's a lot of things that everyone else is telling us we should do or would be good to do, but I'm talking about what 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 you personally want to do in your life that the negative voices, or I'm not going to even call them negative, why label them? But anyway, what do you want to do in your life that you think about and go, ha 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 ha, I can't do that. Um please in the comments start naming some of those things. And yeah, does anyone have one something they really want to do, but there's that voice within them that's saying, dude, I don't know about that, dude. And let me tell you, that voice started really talking to me this morning and then this afternoon before the speech impediment A-Thon. So I created this event with my business partner, no, Chris, a few weeks ago, and he created the brilliant graphic you see you see on the memes, and then I'm like, I'm doing this crazy thing. Well, it is far off. I'm not going to think too much about it, but then today the Christians started screaming at me. Why am I doing this? What makes me think I have enough to save for 3 hours? What makes me think that that I can have a fundraiser for Ukraine and raise $2,212.12 as part of this. What makes me think I can do that? And will I run out of voice? Will I run out of things to say? Will anyone feel it part of the journey to contribute to the campaign to raise money for refugees, Ukrainian refugees? And then as part of preparing, I started looking up about a little bit about what these refugees are going through, and it's really incomprehensible. Like, these people were like us, just living their ordinary lives a few months ago and going about the routine. And yes, Russia was amassing on the border of Ukraine, but you always hope for the best. But then suddenly but then suddenly these people's cities are being bombed, their houses are being bombed, and then suddenly they're trying to get their families out and survive on the road and going to different countries where they might not know the language, and the job they had the whole routine is upended, and suddenly these people who provided for themselves need help, and they don't know where the next meal is coming from. It's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And yet that's part of living in this life. Like, sometimes going through really challenging things ourselves, and then all the time knowing that other people are going through amazingly challenging things in the world, and feeling for them. And so I'm doing this for so many reasons. And I hope I'm not I hope I oh yes, I hope to inspire you all too, who are listening, to really think about where you want to go to expand your own life, if that sounds fun. I mean, there's no have to in this type of expansion. Nothing that all that says I need to speak for 3 hours. Nothing, but to me it's an exciting adventure, and it's immensely challenging. Back to the comments. Um, Michael says I just strive to be better than yesterday. That's huge because water break. I should have warned you beforehand. Because we have, if you strive each day to be better than yesterday, we have 365 of those days in the year, and then each year we have 365 more, and just think of how that daily striving to be a little bit better accumulates. That's brilliant. Jennifer Joe says having a music concert as amazing as Paul McCarthy's concert was last week. Jennifer, I so see you do that. I mean, just since I've known you, you've moved mountains in in your own life, and now you are helping people in a totally new way, and that's exponential. That growth can be exponential. Randy Cox says, "Way to go." Randy, thanks for being such a great support, and for all you do as a hairstylist, and to really inspire others in that industry, in that very important industry, to be to be the best. And I mean, we can take so much for granted in life sometimes, and as a consequence, the people who do these amazing things sometimes get feeling undervalued. But how amazing is it that we can go get a haircut, and get it styled the way we want it, and have these inspiring conversations with the person cutting our hair. Thanks for being you, Andy, and thanks for inspiring me. Davey, I didn't. I said I was going to show you out, but I didn't. You're showing me out. This is such a selfless, awesome idea. You rock. And this is true, Davey. Unfortunately, I have yet to meet Davey in person. He lives in when he connected with me, he lived in Pennsylvania. Now he lives in Florida. Now his beloved seashore, and beloved golf courses, And the other thing you're now doing is on the tip of my tongue, but my tongue's busy, so you wicket ball. No, pickleball. You probably don't need to be in Florida to do pickleball, but you definitely need it for the seashore. But anyway, Davey he just exudes the energy of friendliness, the energy of encouragement. Even though I've never met him, he's been on Awkwardly Awesome podcast. I've been on his podcast. He's given me so much encouragement. He just does this for so many people because he is him. Because he is him. That's good language. Because he is Davey. Davey says, our time in person, brother, in person will come, and I look forward to that. We are connected in powerful ways, brother. Love you very much. Love you too, Davey. Thanks for always inspiring me to be my best. Randy says definitely a confidence builder for people. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. And you're welcome. Thanks for being you, Randy. Janet says, I have taken my past health for granted. When it's taken away, you realize what you've lost. Yeah, I mean, we it's really challenging when health things change for us. Really very challenging to be going along and oh gosh, suddenly this is all different. Thanks for all you're doing to heal and persevere, Jana. I know it's challenging. Thanks for being you, and thanks for your comment. And thanks so much. Good to see you. Okay. I have more questions. So I know I would have a challenge just randomly thinking of things to talk about for the for 3 hours and Dale Santel who I always saw on here. He told me, Jason, you best prepare for this. So thank you, Dale. Thank you. Um, so I prepare by by creating questions for myself. So so I would have things to talk about. And the idea behind this is each week in the 80s now in terms of podcasts. We've done over 80 awkwardly awesome podcasts. But each week I asked my guests the best questions I know how to ask them. So when Daryl said you best prepare for this, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just prepare questions to ask myself, and then answer these questions and tell a few stories and talk about a bit of a take home message or a point or whatever. So what was your basketball career like? Maybe I should have said what was my basketball career like. I don't know. It's kind of weird with me answering it, but anyway, so my basketball career consisted first of being inspired by a story. How often have you started off doing something new? How often have you been inspired to do something new by first hearing a story? And the stories I heard growing up were about my dad's basketball career. He which was in high school, he was just a great basketball player, and he could jump high, and he could make great plays, and I should ask him more about this actually, and get more details. But anyway, I was inspired by that to start shooting hoops. First, if we actually had a basketball hoop at one point in this room on this wall before the room was finished. And gosh, it was fun as a kid knowing that you had a basketball hoop in your basement. That felt so good. But so then sixth grade came along and I went out for the basketball team. It wasn't a school basketball team, but a YMCA basketball team. Oh, hold that thought. And and in basketball practice and in basketball games, it quickly became very apparent to me that my vision of of what of how I would perform playing basketball versus how I actually performed playing basketball. My vision and how I actually performed were two very different things. Have you ever had that where you had like an idea of how you were going to do something and how good you would be at it, only to actually try the thing and be like, in my case, I quickly realized that I had the habit of way too often catching basketballs with my glasses and my chest and my nose and my knees and my stomach and sometimes my hand, and in that I wasn't good at dribbling at all, and when you're not that good at catching balls and don't have any facility for dribbling and are only marginal at shooting, it makes for a fairly limited basketball career. The highlight was actually one time someone followed me for some reason. I mean, talk about a wasted foul. Like, maybe they were looking somewhere else and ran into me. I don't know why you were following me. That is no reason. I didn't pose any threat of like making a, a good shot. So and then so I was at the free throw line and I go up to make the first shot and I miss it, and I go up to make the second shot and miss it. And that was my sixth grade basketball career. Okay, an addendum to the story before I get back to comments. I made that the end of my basketball career. I said I'm not cut out for this. I got frustrated. I quit practicing. I definitely did not try out for any of the teams. I decided that was the end of my basketball career. Now, if I have practice and practice and practice every day, could I be reasonably good at basketball by now? I mean, who knows? Maybe not, but maybe when we stop doing the thing, when we stop doing something because it frustrates us, when we stop doing something because it frustrates us, that does not mean that we couldn't get better at the thing. It just means that we chose to stop doing the thing. And sometimes we want to move on to different things because we don't want to go through all the effort or something else and just us more or whatever, and that's fine. But for years I said I quit basketball because I was no good at it, and that's I mean I quit because I decided to quit. I don't know how good I could have been if I had kept going. So back first question down, back to comments. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Daniel Dangerfield Hall, and his middle name is Dangerfield because he does such an amazing Rodney Dangerfield impression. Speaking of inspiring stories, more and more I find I'm surrounding myself by inspiring stories. Or actually I think I might be listening to people's stories better than I used to, in realizing that like everyone has an inspiring story in their own right. And if you're listening to this and you're like, no, no, Jason, I don't have an inspiring story. I challenge you to let me talk with you for an hour, and I bet we can find an inspiring story. Well, anyway, with Daniel Dangerfield Hall, you don't have to look hard at all because as a young person, I mean, really young, one, two, three, he was in foster care, and it was an awful situation. He and his siblings endured, had to deal with things. I don't know. had to deal with things that no little kid should have to deal with. But fortunately, when he was about 5, I don't remember the exact age. His parents found his, who the people who would become his parents found him, and 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 his mom was brilliant, and he learned so much from his dad, and and now and he's and then he became an adult and met this great woman who's now his wife, and they they've had foster kids, they have their own kids, and now is inspiring organizations having to uh, he's inspiring organizations that that counsel foster parents and 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 help them be better foster parents. And I am sorry, Daniel, I don't know the name of the exact organization you're speaking to. I don't remember it, but I'm so proud of you. If you're still on, would you please tell me if I did justice to your story and if you want to add anything? Thanks. How many, speaking of another person who continually inspires me, continually sees the best of me, how many has coached me for years, and and she's one of the primary reasons I have the confidence to do a 3 hour speech impediment A-Thon. For much of my life, I didn't want to talk for even 3 minutes without asking someone a question and getting them talking. But Harmony has helped me realize that I have my brilliance to share, and also that I can help other people share their brilliance, and that through that I have so much to talk about. Thank you, Harmony. Harmony says, so basketball play versus basketball in the mind. So question is, what is your perspective on concept versus tangible, and how to persevere? Through perseverance, can you bridge the gap? So that there's profound. There's two parts of that. Knowing that we are free to persevere towards what we want in life. We don't have to do something perfectly to persevere towards it. We, we and and even if we make a lot of mistakes, we can still persevere towards something, because we learn from the mistakes, and they can keep us going. But the other question is, what is our purpose in persevering towards something? Like with basketball, if I had wanted to become good, I would have had to over work through my birth injury physical challenges, and work with them and stuff, and it probably would have been more work than for the average. I mean, there's no average athlete, but if there were, it would have been a lot more work. But if I had a huge purpose to playing basketball, I could have definitely done it. But I didn't quit. But I have a huge purpose in speaking in inspire audiences, and especially now, inspiring middle school and high school kids to turn their challenges into opportunities, and to develop their self-esteem, and to persevere, and to really start to understand when they're being mean to themselves, when their self-talk is vicious, and to go in and to know they have an option of going in a different direction. So the difference between speaking for me in basketball is, with the speaking, I have huge purpose, same as basketball. I'm countering a challenge I've had since birth injury with a speech impediment, but I have huge purpose, and so I'm going for it. Now I'm reaching out to schools. I'm calling them. I'm emailing them, and I'm doing things like the speech impediment A-Thon. But with basketball, no, I'm not. I haven't practiced dribbling a ball for probably, I don't know, since I was in grade school. I've dribbled a few times since then, but not much. And a few times over a 20 or 30-year span is not a way to get good at something. We get good at something by practicing as often as we can tolerate, and as often as works into our lives, and by developing the discipline. And I didn't have that with basketball, so it's like a random story I'm telling related to this question. But with speaking, I think I might have it because I'm committed. Back to comments. That was great, Harmony. Thank you. And I'm sorry I'm not always looking at the camera. I'm still working on that. That's the comments. Yeah, I'm still that's a work in progress. Jennifer Joe says, being blind in one eye has made my ball career as often as yours. Love this. And like I just discovered by talking myself through my basketball, talking myself through my basketball career, and my decision to quit at the end of sixth grade, is that I decided not to pursue basketball. And you decided not to pursue your ball career, and you're focused on music and speaking and writing, and I'm in coaching, and I'm focused on coaching, speaking, writing, photography. We've decided to turn our energy towards other things, and that's fine. that's fine. But just know that I could become a much better basketball player if I put my heart in it, and your ball career could expand if you put your heart in it. But that's not simply what we choose to do. At least now I know, and that's fine. Jennifer says my hubby was determined to teach me to shoot and taught me to aim differently with my visual impairment. Oh, so I should have read this before I said all that. So you just did what I'm talking about. Check this out. My hubby determined to teach me to shoot and taught me to aim differently with my visual impairment. After practicing, one day I shot 21 baskets in a row. Oh my gosh. See that's what's possible. If in this case you had someone you loved who wanted to teach you something, and you wanted to learn from them, and you got results. 21 baskets in a row. That's amazing, Jennifer. Oh, well, have to go back and shout out. Whoa, this is me trying to find who I want to shout out quick. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Do you like this play of me finding a comment? That kind of amused me. Brian. He says there he is, voicing his bye for 3 hours. So Brian doing the especially I mean still, but during the during the height of the pandemic, like the really intense time like in 2020, that he Brian and Nancy all I can think of is Deborah right now because that's a Facebook name. Nancy, him and Nancy and Tim Solon, they they had shows, LinkedIn shows, bringing people together, and the shows were so inspiring, and Brian still has shows and has and I mean I can't keep up with all you do for this world, Brian, because you're extending your energy farther and farther out and creating more brilliance. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being you, Brian. Okay, so back down the comments. It's fun having lots of comments. Thank you, everyone. Davy Williams says, yes, check this out. People forget we all have a story. This inspiration comes from sharing it. The motivation comes from the impact it makes in the lives and businesses of others. Yes, we all have a story. We it's so true, and not only all of us on this live, but including the So out of Ukraine, we hear numbers of refugees, like millions of people leaving the country, millions more refugees in the country, and it can become so completely overwhelming to just entirely overwhelming, and it can become easy to forget that each one of those millions of people has a story like we do, a story like we do, and they've helped people in their lives like we do, and they have goals and dreams like we do, uh, and if you're inspired to take a gander at this and and donate, so this donation is a direct link to the International Rescue Committee, who has a well-known organization who has a fund for refugees. And at first I was just going to do the speech impediment A-Thon, but then I thought, why not whip all the energy out farther and see and get people the option to donate. I mean, and when I talk about considering donating, I'm urging you to donate if it brings you joy. If you go to the page, if you look up the organization, if it all makes sense, if you have some money that it would give you joy to put towards this. I mean, maybe you're donating to other causes. Maybe you're investing in your own life right now. I mean, all of that's good. I'm so tired of feeling guilty about not donating to a million things because the there's too many. Like if you're going to click on this link and donate, I urge you to do it out of joy. And if you don't, if you feel like some heavy emotion and only feel sadness about doing it, just don't do it. Let's start let's start putting our money where a joy is, where our happiness is. Like I put $50 into the link this morning because it makes, or just before this actually, because it makes me happy to think of some of my energy whittling out to help other people. So maybe you want to donate too, maybe you don't, but either way, just wanted to give you the option. Thank you. And back to comments. Um, Tim Soen. Whenever I say your last name, I'm like, am I saying it right, or did I forget between that last time and this time? You have some some way for me to remember even, and I think it includes Seow, Seowyn, but I'm not sure. But anyway, talk about someone making a difference. A few years ago, Tim announced that part of his journey has been moving through and healing from leukemia, and he's got into a very, very good place in his own journey. In fact, he's healed, but he's helping others. He has this wonderful podcast showing up perspectives on cancer, and he's raising all kinds of money for the Leukemia Foundation, and I just appreciate all the good work you do, Tim. Thank you. Harmony says, "I love this. As amazing as you are, as as are you." Thanks, Harmony. Thanks so much. Thanks, my friend. Nancy Bowers, Brian Schumann, and I'm not saying Brian's last name right. I'm Nancy Barrows. I remember Nancy's name since Tim clued me in. So, Tim Son. But anyway, they all were working together to create just these amazing LinkedIn events during the pandemic. Was Good Wednesday and Showing Up Saturday? Ever know? So, Super Saturday. Oh gosh, I should take notes before I do these. But anyway, they were in these would draw hundreds of people, and just when everyone needed it. And thanks, Tim's keeping me honest with the detail. You should come on. What's Good Wednesday tonight? It's from 9. Oh, it's at night now? It's from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. Wow, cool. Cool, that's good. That's great to know. It's at night now. I need to get back. It's always fun when I come. Thanks for the inviting me again. Oh, thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Thank you. And not only, I mean, see what we're doing here is we're letting energy ripple out. So I had an idea of creating a fundraiser for the for refugee people who happen to be refugees leaving Ukraine and my idea was inspired by Kirk Hinkelman who was running a campaign with International Rescue Committee. So he inspired me to take that step, and now Brian's putting donate hashtag every little bit matters. Hashtag voice the vibe and help however you can. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. and then this is so good, and I don't, and this is about all of us. Like so often, we look out at life, and I'm like, I'm just small me. How can I make a difference? But the thing is, we don't just make a difference with our own energy alone. We don't make a difference by showing a perfect lead to life and saying, I'm going to solve it all. I'm going to solve the refugee crisis. I'm going to solve people in pain, people who have cancer, people who have people who have all kinds of things going on. We don't solve it alone, but we create a ripple. So Kirk gave me an idea, and then Tim's and now Tim's and now Brian and Tim's are saying donation. Brian says things that further the donation conversation, and now Tim is donation equals impact. It's like stone without the T in it. Stone. Stone. Yeah, I said it right. I know it. I know it. I know it. I didn't know it. As one for Saturday that they did was Shout Out Saturday. Shout Out Saturday. So that was fun, y'all. So back to a question, and I just want to say the first hour is done. So what's the next question? I'm getting it. I'm getting it queued up. I'm getting it queued up. If you're going to do a three-hour talking, I urge you to create questions for yourself. Sometimes it's I'm finding it's easier. I'm finding I'm having technical difficulties. Anyway, I am finding it's easier to answer questions. And some people gave me this idea too. A retired superintendent named Mark, who I was talking to, and then another lady, Pat, who I'm going to be speaking to her youth group. They said they pointed out on the same day. They said, Jason, it's easier to answer questions than it is to just keep thinking of things to say. So thank goodness I have all these questions. So push enter, and I said push enter for me. You didn't need. So that was a backstage cue that you didn't need to know about. But and gosh, so Chris, who I work with, is into the details, which is thank goodness. I just noticed that my screen was off center compared to my background, and so I just changed it like an hour and 8 minutes into the show. Good job, Jason. Good job. Gosh. So we all have our gifts, and we all have our limitations, and one of mine sometimes is details. And so thank goodness for teamwork. So, next question. What did your friend Ina say that changed? Okay, it's better to answer questions when you're edit the questions you type up beforehand. Oh gosh. Let's try that again. Speaking to you that speaking of editing, and we can stop doing the things we want to do in life because we're afraid of making mistakes, like posting a question that you had a lot of time to edit, and that uh, being a word not right. Wait, oh no, there's too many banners. Okay. And there being a word not right in there. But you know what? Like if you're going for it and you give it your honest best and you make a mistake, just change it. So let's try this again. What did your friend Ina say to you? Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe third time's a charm. Okay. Uh, okay, awkward moments. And sometimes moments are awkward. Okay, third time's a charm. What did your friend Ina say to you that changed your life? You know, speaking of ripple effects, sometimes when we think of helping friends who are dealing with a tough situation, definitely making a difference in a situation as big as the refugee crisis in Ukraine. We think we have to do something huge. And sometimes that's one of the reasons I love this story. So about 11 years ago, um, Ina, maybe 12 years ago, Ina and I were sitting in her car before she dropped me off at my apartment. I lived in San Diego at the time, and and I must have been complaining about my voice or something. You, putting somehow putting myself self doubts on articulating my self doubts, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what my experience was at the time. But suddenly she stopped me and she was like, "Jason, your speech impediment is your gift, is one of your gifts." And I'm like, "What? What? What? This voice that I've spent so much energy disliking throughout my life, this voice that I thought would forever limit me, this voice that I thought had the power to cripple my dreams, this voice that seems so heavy to me, it could be a gift. What? Sometimes, sometimes we need that from another person. Just an idea, a loving idea that shifts our perspective. And and partly it was how Ina delivered it. She wasn't like, Jason, you must believe your voice is a gift because I'm saying it's a gift. You must do that that do what I'm saying. you know the energy when someone tries to convince you to do something, and then you start scooting for the bag, and you're like, you can tell me all you want to do that thing, but you're making me less and less likely to do it. So that's not how Ina was about it at all. She, in that moment, she's just like, matter of factly, Jason Freeman. Jason. She didn't call me Jason Freeman. She just said Jason. Your voice is a gift. And and that was like that moment was like I had the experience of being lost. I had the experience of being lost around my voice. In Ina's simple statement with like a cue, a direction. Hey, Jason, maybe this is the way you want to go towards the giftedness of your voice, instead of thinking what all is lacking because you weren't born with a normal voice, a normal coordination. So, speaking of ripples, Ina's comment, Ina's comment 11 years ago has helped me get to the point where I am speaking to you right now, doing this speech impediment A-Thon on Speech Impediment Awareness Day. And 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 earlier oops, nope. And earlier I donated $50 to my to the campaign started for Ukrainian refugees through the International Refugee Committee, and I part of me like, oh gosh, I'm donating $50. Big group, big group. The There's millions of refugees. That's not even a penny per refugee, and what would that do anyway? But 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 that part of my mind that says big group, who cares? Who cares? Is discounting the ripple effect we all can have? Is discounting the ripple effect Ina demonstrated when she told me your voice is a gift? And so with that, five more comments. I almost said we love comments, but it's just me. But it's not just me. That's the whole point. It's we. It's Mike Crabtree, one of my new friends who is brilliant, and we're working on such a great project together that I am so excited about, and we'll tell you about eventually. Um, he heard my comment about the 50 bucks. The $50 and what difference would it make? And he said it's a night in a safe place for a terrified family. It's a night in a safe place for a terrified family. these little things we can do to remember each other's humanity and to celebrate humanity and human emotions and neither Mike, I don't think Mike's been to Ukraine and seen the refugee crisis, and I definitely haven't, and most of you probably haven't, but as humans we can empathize with people going through stuff we're not experiencing, and our heart can go out to them. It's so awesome how we're all connected. Tim's sewing said thanks for taking us behind the scenes and I'm laughing because if I'm talking for 3 hours, you're going to get a lot of behind the scenes. Yeah, you're welcome, Tim, and yeah, you're welcome. I just said that. I'll say this too, because it's true, and part of the behind the scenes potentially. Tim pointed out before I got on, he's like, "Oh, dude, 3 hours. I hope you scheduled in bathroom breaks," and I actually did not do that. So so if that comes up, I might be leaving for a minute, but but and none of you needed to know that, but I mean that's part of the behind the scenes, and you inspired me with that comment, Tim. So thank you, Tiffany. Cut deal. All these people I've had on my podcast who I don't know how to pronounce their last names. I don't remember. But let me tell you what, Cadell. That's not how you say your last name, though. Sorry, Tiffany. But anyway, Tiffany is on the mission to help the world heal through laughter yoga, through movement, through through meditation. She's on this huge mission, and we know she's going around the country gathering laughter stories from laughter yoga leaders and teachers about what laughter yoga is and how it's beneficial. I had her like so many of the people on here on my podcast, and there's some who are on here who I haven't had on yet, but I should have on. Like for instance, since DJ, who's having me on her podcast, and I need to have her on mine. Please leave me a message, DJ, and remind me to invite you to be on my podcast too. But anyway, speaking of ripple effect, DJ is the reason we're all here today. Because she was inviting me to be on her podcast and said and just said, hey, offhandedly said, "Hey, Jason speaking Impediment Awareness Day is May 4th. And right now, I just Googled it beforehand, and I actually can't find a website about Speech Impediment Awareness Day on the web. But it doesn't matter, and I'm curious about where you found it, but it doesn't matter because DJ, by you saying it, that it got me thinking, how do I want to celebrate something like Speech Impediment Awareness Day, which made me think, oh, I want to do an A-Thon or a speech impediment A-Thon. And how long should it go? It should go longer than I've ever spoken before. And so it was born from what you told me, DJ, what you said in that offhand a comment. And now not only am I doing something I've never done before, and not only are we all having an inspiring conversation, but we're raising money for refugees in Ukraine. And I bet you did think that all would come from your comment, but it did. Our energy ripples out. Speaking of wonderful, beautiful energy, Kara says, Jason, you are a wonderful human. Jason, read. Jason, you wonderful human, you. How are you feeling right now? What a great question. I'm feeling more and more inspired, which is what I hoped would happen. Like starting off as kind of huggy juggy, and I started a few minutes late, like 4 minutes late, and I'm like, and then it's going to work, but now I'm inspired by all the comments. I'm inspired by telling stories, and speaking of inspiration, you, Kara, are so inspiring. You're such an advocate for the best in humans, and for humans understanding each other, and for humans having real conversations, and humans being kind to each other, and humans just being human. Like one thing recently you were bringing so much awareness to is violence perpetrated against women, and it's something we don't talk about nearly enough. So many women live in silence about the violence that has come into their lives, and men don't talk about it enough either, but people care are saying, let's have this conversation, men and women. Let's continue the healing process, and the only way to heal this stuff is to talk, to use our voices, to hear each other's perspectives, to learn how each other's feel. So thanks for bringing so much light to that, Kara. Oh, and thank you, Kara. And now, next question. Sometime I'll have a seamless way to do this. By just starting off with doing this question thing. So, next question. And this part of the podcast isn't very exciting, but we're going to try, or we're going to throw the old one away, and we're going to put the new one up. And we're doing a play-by-play of this. And we pray that I edited it beforehand. Why did you move back to South Dakota in the spring of 2020? Yay, I edited it. It makes sense. So, originally, let me back up. In the fall of 2019, I was at the top of my San Diego game. I just there was I've been going to this yoga studio, Pilgrimage of the Heart. Still an amazing yoga studio in San Diego. I've been going there for 10 years. I had against odds had learned how to do a handstand against a wall. I went sometimes 7 times a week, sometimes fewer times a week, but I loved it. I had this huge community of friends that I knew from being there for 10 years and being out and about. In my career in October 2019 was going gangbusters. I traveled whatever gangbusters means. I traveled back to the Midwest. As part of it, I spoke like 11 times or something in Austin, so I got a standing ovation as part of that from 1,500 high school students. Then I had a speaking engagement in Sioux Falls, then a speaking engagement in Vermilion, and I'm like, yes, please. I want more of this. Yes, that sounds amazing. And then we get into January 2020, and I start seeing headlines that there's this COVID pandemic in China, but at that time China seems so far away, and I'm like, it won't come here. But then the headlines started getting more and more intense, and fast forward to February 2020, and I'm supposed to come home or come back to the Midwest for some speaking engagements. And my dad calls me one morning. I'm at a conference up in San Diego by the ocean, and I vividly remember his call. He's like, Jason, it's looking like you should probably drive instead of fly. And I started looking more closely at the news. So, sorry, water break, not elegant, water break though. I started looking more closely at the news, and I'm like, this is kind of getting bad. And so I packing my car, I'm like, maybe I'll be in South Dakota until the end of June, but by then COVID will be over, and then I'll be back to normal, and I'll be back in San Diego. And so I came back, did a few speaking engagements, and found I loved walking in the country around my parents' place, and then I started taking longer walks. One day on a walk between Larchwood, Iowa, and Inwood, Iowa. This was probably in April or May. I'm just on this long random walk between two towns no one walks between. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever walked between the two towns. Probably someone has, but on that walk, I'm like, I really like being back in South Dakota. And so that night I told my parents I wanted to move back, and they were thrilled, of course. And then the next morning I started telling my dear San Diego friends. I unfortunately had bad news for them. I'm like, I'm moving back to Dakota, and it was tough for a lot of them because for one thing, it was a shock. It was just all out of the blue, kind of. And it's not at all the way I would have done it if I had if the pandemic hadn't been going on, but it ended up I stayed in South Dakota. One of my great friends, Dave moved me out of my apartment virtually. Very kind thing to do, and I'm just for the first time we'll be going back to to San Diego for almost 3 weeks in the middle of June, and sorry if I'm working on telling everyone, and if you live in San Diego and I haven't told you yet, please don't be offended. It's just there's a lot of people I need to tell, and I haven't gotten all the way there yet. So that's that story. Comments. Oh, air hugs. Bill Bradford. Good to see you, Bill. Thanks so much. You, Bill is someone I don't know. No, we don't know each other well yet, but but I sense that you're an amazing person, and I know you support a lot of people I care about. So thanks much for being you. Thanks much for being you. So so we are, or I am. If you've been watching the whole thing, I mean that would be amazing. But but probably most, and I would come in and go out. But anyway, I am at 1 hour and 40 minutes, so I'm over halfway done. I'm over halfway done with this speech impediment A-Thon that I a few hours ago I was like, oh, can I do this? So sometimes, like in our minds, we can so talk ourselves out of trying new things and saying, don't do that because this may happen, this may happen, this may happen. Sometimes it feels so much better actually to take the action that we're procrastinating on because we don't think it'll turn out right. Like right now, I can say, hey, look, mind, look, we're almost 2 hours into a speech impediment A-Thon. And 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 there's been times in my life that I didn't want to talk at all much more than to ask people questions and get them talking. And now I'm talking for 3 hours straight, and I'm doing this virtually, and it's going out over Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and on YouTube too. And I'm just doing it, and I'm raising money for Ukrainian refugees. And you might be wondering, Jason, why in the world does the hashtag say awkwardly awesome Jason, awkwardly awesome effort? Because I mean, one reason is my book is awkwardly awesome, embracing my imperfect best. But and Dan just says it's 4 in South Dakota. Yay! So one reason is the title of a book, but who among us doesn't feel awkward and ill-equipped in the face of just unimaginable tragedy like such as is happening in Ukraine, where millions of people have been displaced from their homes in uh, trying to figure out how to survive without a home, suddenly probably without a job, suddenly without that life being the predictable life it once was. And 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 it's so often when things are overwhelming like this, I have immediately told myself I'm not going to do anything I can. I don't know what to do, but it feels good to make this small effort and see how it ripples out. So confession, I don't know I didn't get the website synced up to look at the back end of the campaign, so I don't know if anything's going on. it might be I look at the campaign at the end of the 3 hours or whenever I do, and I'm like, oh, that's just my $50 donation. Or maybe there's hundreds, or maybe there's thousands of dollars in donations. I don't know, but listen to this. A ripple is a ripple. And I'm not sure that makes sense scientifically. But yeah, kind of does. Because when you toss a stone in the water, the first ripple is a little ripple. So what, like I'm putting energy towards thinking about the refugees who are experiencing all the experience in Ukraine, and I put a token of $50 towards it. So whatever happens, that's a small ripple, and who knows how far it goes, who knows what it affects. We have an opportunity to stop judging our effort. I mean, yes, we can judge. Did I do my best in this instance? And if not, what can I learn from the imperfections, and how can I move forward? But like even when we do our best, we don't know how far the web goes out. So rather than pretending like oh, nothing's going to happen in the campaign, or else or on when nothing's going to happen, it's a stupid idea. And on the other end, oh my God, it always raise hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and cure the situation. How about just being in the middle of not knowing, of being like, oh, I felt in my heart that I wanted to make an effort. I did, and who knows how far it goes out. And speaking of ripples, 10 comments. At a minute 47 and counting, 10 comments. Yay, we love comments. Yog, Yog, so this is so funny. Everyone who's been on Awkwardly Awesome podcast, who has a complicate, who has a name I find complicated, is making comments, which is great, but it reminds me that I don't remember your name, Yorg, and don't ask me to say your last name. Anyway, my friend, you gave an awesome interview. What you're doing in Ireland is awe-inspiring, and I hope you're playing lots of pickleball. York says nearly every change starts with a small ripple, and just by you doing this, you get people to think about it. Well done. Hmm. And Brian, followed that up with hashtag ripple effect. Hashtag ripple effect. And speaking of speaking of ripple effect, talk about kindness, Brian. You have a million things to do, and you're so on here encouraging me. Wow, thank you, thanks so much, Brian. Brian says you are a ripple effect of positivity and inspiration in the world, my dear friend. And my hope is to put us. I mean, admittedly, when I started off in my career, I wanted to be be special and creating the positivity and inspiration and say, look at me, I'm creating positivity and inspiration. But and this is what I want to do. Um, and do when I speak to young people, I remind them that they have the power to create a ripple effect, to share positivity and inspiration. Because if we each know we can make a difference, if we each know we can make a difference, then we'll show up. Thank you, Tim Son, and then we'll show up to make the difference. But if we think we're powerless, if we think our voice doesn't matter, if we think our actions don't matter, if we think our creative ideas don't matter, if we think we don't matter, yes, we're going to probably just hang out. And it doesn't feel good sitting on the sidelines. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Bleachers sitting is extremely overrated. It's extremely overrated because, I mean, yes, it's fun to watch and support and cheer, but at a certain point, we want to play the game of our lives. We are designed, as Ryan says, to have impact. We are designed, as Kenny says, to savor the flavor of the awesomeness that we are, to savor this life, to savor who we are. And thanks for you keep reminding your community of that, Kenny, and it's so inspiring and to just we have so much within us, and so often well-meaning people around us, and even ourselves, and our internal voice says, well, you should be doing more with your life, and starts to guilt us and shame us and to not doing more. I say let's be done with the guilt and shame. It's not motivational. It just makes us feel like shit. And yes, almost 2 hours into a speech impediment A-Thon, I can say a shit or two. But the but guilt, shame, and just thinking, well, not good enough, well, not worth it. It just makes us feel lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, and and also makes us start thinking that we're not worth that much, that ideas aren't worth that much, that the actions we take will help, and and we can really talk ourselves out of living fully, and and that's such a shame because I get more and more joy in my own life the more fully I live. And also the more fully we live, the more we can contribute to this person and that person and this person and that person, and the more we allow our energy to ripple out and bring, or in a session honor that you're still on, Brian. And speaking of rippling out, how many people know the name Brian Shulman? Speak, Brian Shulman, and associate that name with joy and laughter and meaning and the feeling that they matter, and that's all because you you Nancy and Tim created this whole tribe that's rippling good stuff out into the world. Voice your vibe, and indeed. To, Today's conversation is so delectable, scrumptiously delicious, edibly tasty good. We've never met, Kenny, but I love the way you encourage people. I mean, we've never met yet in person, but I love the way you encourage people. Today's conversation is so delectable, scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly, tasty good. I mean, how much more fun is that than you just saying, I'm enjoying this conversation, or this conversation is good. It's so fun how you add energy, Kenny, thank you. Bill Bradford, if each one of us would impact one person a day, imagine the world in a few years. True, and I would, I want to extend that a little bit and say, I mean, especially in the age of social media and being so connected and hopping on lives and and adding to a conversation, we don't know how many people we impact in a day. Like, maybe 10 people see this comment, Bill, and start doing it, and they each impact one person today, and then those people feel so good that they impact two people today, and suddenly, Bill, you just by this comment you've impacted maybe hundreds of people today. Like, yes, at least impact one people. And talking for about 2 hours, at least impact one person a day. It's a great goal, but don't limit yourself to that. We as humans keep limiting uh, what we think our energy can do. What we think the the good of our energy it can do. Speaking of good energy, if you're inspired, if you're inspired, Google that, and and it's in the description too. And I'm just realizing, like, this is the most inconvenient thing to flash up, because like you're going to weigh that all down in a few minutes, just look in the description. But see, this is how energy works. We don't we don't have to give our effort to the world perfectly for it to have an impact. Like flashing this long ass link up, probably not the wisest thing to do. But I mean, but still you feel my energy, and from feeling my energy you can then you then have the power to choose how you do your own thing. You're not like I was really grooving with Jason in the speech impediment A-Thon, but then he flashed this long link up, and now, and then he's awkwardly drinking out of a water bottle, and so now I'm done. It's no good. I'm never talking to Jason again. He flashed this long link up and is drinking out of a water bottle. No, people don't need us to be perfect to be inspired by us. People need us to try our best as often as we can. I'm not saying to just please don't go home and be like, oh, Jason, I just listened to Jason talk for 3 hours today, and his messages just make as many mistakes as you want all the time. Just don't care. Just get distracted and make as many mistakes as you can. No, that's not. Uh, that's one approach to life, and not when I enjoy. I say try our best, and when mistakes come up, when imperfections come up, learn from them, and move forward. And yes, often you can make a joke about a mistake, and it puts other people at ease, and that's wonderful too. But I say do your imperfect best, and that means going towards the best you want, and learning from the mistakes that come up along the way. And haven't even got into a question for a long time, but I have 10 comments. 10 comments. Which hour are you on? So I'm at 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 seconds. Yeah, so I'm over 2/3 done. Pretty exciting. You actually did miss the full force pee break. But speaking of that, I should take a lot of water. I should drink more water. I toast your question. Tim Soren. Tim Soren. So, yeah, Hashtag randomness when I take a water break. Tim says shout out to Puffs, Spam, and Shaman. Just a sec. So a little show and tell break here. Where did everyone go? Oh, it was me. Little show and tell break here. Spam. Tim and I love shouting out spam and speaking of love, I'll say love. I'm saying this for all of us on the call. Love. And now do this with me. Let's send love to all the people in Ukraine. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Love. It feels good to, at least it feels good to me to sometimes consciously think of making bigger movements, making different songs that seem uncomfortably long, like love. Oh, and then on the show and tell this, I was talking about sixth grade basketball, my sixth grade basketball career a while ago, and we got a trophy. I guess. What place did we get? I don't even know. Oh, we were winner up in the tournament, and believe me, none of this was the result of my skills. Maybe I provided inspiration to the team, but that's it. What else do? Bill says, my motto, make somebody smile each and every day. I love that. Love that. Tim Ribbar fact. What? I think the puff spam shaman combination. OMG from nose to butt. That's pretty good. Puff spam shaman from nose to butt. yeah, that's pretty good. Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Seeing a part outside, I'm so honored. I'm honored. I mean, you're legend. Your name is legend. Your name is legend. Thanks for hopping on. When people I impact still doesn't hurt, like stubbing my nose. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fun to impact people. It doesn't hurt. You've you forgot above the nose and below the ankle. Above the nose and below the ankles. Oh, I guess that would be the forehead, Kenny, and and the feet. Yeah, I'm smart. I figured that out. I'm not going to show you my feet. Oh my gosh, you guys! All these beautiful comments. Um, So we need another question, or we're going to have another question at 2 hours. What are we at? 2 hours, 10 minutes, or we'll less than an hour. So this could be more seamless, but it's not yet. Oh, okay. So, what do you still love about San Diego? I lived in San Diego for 10 years, and as I said, I moved back to South Dakota in the spring of 2020. But it doesn't mean that I don't love San Diego still. The main thing I miss so many things. The first thing is all my wonderful friends, and any of you who have moved away from someone you love and left people you love know know what I'm talking about. It's hard. Like, I spent a lot of years living in the same city as my as all my friends, and now I live all my San Diego friends, and now I live a few thousand miles away from them. I don't know exactly how far I am away, and then then I also miss doing yoga. I did a lot of yoga in San Diego, and I've gotten into counting meditation since I've been back in South Dakota. So what counting meditation is, I wake up each morning and I count usually 336 complete breaths. And I count the inhale, exhale as one. And I usually do that before I get out of bed, and it's so good, and I love it, but it's but it's not doing yoga with my beloved yoga community. So I gained a lot by coming to South Dakota, but then I miss a lot about San Diego. Both things are true, and I'm sure you've had that in life, and maybe you have that in some of your experiences of the last few years. I've gained in one sense, but I miss it. I miss in another sense, and it's okay to feel both. To feel both things. We humans are complex beings. We can love something and miss it at the same time. We can be very happy we are living somewhere else, but miss where we were at the same time. I can be present to my life in South Dakota while still loving San Diego. We humans are complex beings. More comments, more comments. Tim, Tim asks, do you keep in touch with your San Diego friends now. Oh, yes, I do. And I'm going. I haven't even told you this, Tim, and for anyone living in San Diego watching who I need to see and haven't told yet, I apologize. This is relatively new, but I'm going to be in Southern California like from June 18th through July 7th, something, and I'm so excited 'cause these friends I've been talking to on the phone and zooming with, I can finally see, and I can go get monster cookies with some of them, and I can go to the ocean with them, and there's one person I spent of July with for years, and and we can spend Fourth of July again together now, and it's just so exciting, and thanks for the question. DJ Rodriguez says we are definitely complex. And like anything in life, we can use. We can either be inspired by the complex beings that we are in all our facets, and try and embrace all of it and learn more about it each day, or else we can be like that is too much and only concentrate on one part of ourselves and try not to focus on the other things, and it's life's complex. It's not like embracing it all is the way of focusing on one small part of it is the way, but it's finding what feels good to us. Like right now, doing the speech impediment A-Thon is feeling really good to me, even though my voice is getting a little tired. Or I should say that a different way. I'm feeling different things in my throat, and I associate that with my voice getting tired. But so I mean I want to be mindful and drink water, but I also don't want to check out early and say, oh, I've spoken for 2 hours, 18 minutes. It's more than I've ever spoken. So give myself a chance to just check out. I mean, maybe in the next 40 minutes, like something that I say will resonate with one of you in a special way, and it'll create a ripple effect in your life. Maybe it won't, but if I just check out and start talking about just random stuff for the next 20 minutes, which I'm completely capable of talking about the random. We might miss out on something great. So I'm going to keep going and keep in the game. And why did I say game for a long time? Because I wanted to spend time while I queued up another question, but then I just said game instead of actually queuing the question, so it didn't really help with what I intended for it to help with. So so I'm still still randomly talking for a minute while I queue this up. And then I need to throw that away, and then I need to, what the heck? And then I need to do that, and then I need to do that. How did you come to feel so bad about yourself in 7th grade? I have to admit, I do kind of love reading my own questions and answering my own questions. So, but this is a important one, and something that I think of young people, grade school, high school, middle school, set that out of order, college students, and all that dealing with that I didn't deal with, like the world is. I mean, there's so much going on right now. They've just experienced a pandemic that I didn't experience when I was a kid. Believe me, when I was in 7th grade, I wasn't doing 3 hours of Facebook Lives. We didn't know what Facebook was. Computers were primitive. There was no internet. And so, the dealing with a very, very complex situation. And for any of us, we can become overwhelmed as we deal with the complexity of our lives, and we can begin focusing so much on what we perceive as being negative, like in 7th grade, I found my voice, the same voice I'm speaking to you with now, with so much confidence and joy. I found the same voice utterly embarrassing, shameful. I felt all alone with my voice and my coordination. And I felt like I was the only one who felt all alone. I felt singled out by life. Have you ever felt that way? It can be a devastating, a very devastating feeling. Very devastating. And what I didn't realize that as I went more and more down that road of self-negativity, self-loathing, bullying myself, is that path wasn't expanding my perspective of the world. It was making me more blind to other people. More blind and pretty much completely blind at some points to the needs of other people, to other people's challenges, to and as this blindness came more and more on me, I just, the feelings of being alone compounded and became more and more intense. And I attempted to take my own life, and in that context of being so blind to what was going on with others and so miserable, I attempted to take my own life, but luckily, my heart wasn't in it, and I called for help. So, so in the instance, that voice, that part of us that wants to love ourselves and wants to love the world was reactivated and started to 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 take charge and it said, no, Jason, no, I know you're hurting, I know your seventh grade brain only sees loneliness and that you're no good and that you'll never amount to anything, but what you see isn't at all what you will become. You only see a tiny speck of your life right now, and you're making opinions about that tiny speck of life right now. You don't know that your life will ripple out. You don't know that you'll enjoy high school and enjoy your high school friends. You don't know that your dad will teach you how to drive, even though you're very insecure about the idea, and that you'll drive tens of thousands of miles in your life. You don't know that you'll one day will write a book. You don't know that. And speaking of my book, I'm looking at the stand, and I forgot got to put it on the stand. You don't know that one day you'll do a TEDx talk. You don't know all the people you will friend and who will befriend you. You don't know the ripple you will make. When we feel worse, sometimes tragically we can lose sight of our best and what our heart wants and what we are capable of and we can convince ourselves that we are capable of nothing and it's 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 extremely painful and it's also not reality. We are only in those moments. We are only seeing a little tiny part of ourselves, and interpreting that tiny part of ourselves in a very negative way. In seventh grade, I interpreted this voice as being my doom, as forever limiting my life. And with the same voice, now I'm inspired. I've inspired people across the country. I'm raising money for Ukraine. I reach out to so many friends with this voice, just because we feel low and hate something about ourselves at one point, something that it seems like we cannot change. It doesn't mean we're always going to hate that thing. There's so much we can learn from the times when we feel our lows. Mm-hmm. Another question. No, I want to talk about this one. Just a quick pause. We are at about an hour 30 minutes here. A quick pause. Feels good to have gone almost there, almost to the goal. I said almost there. Next question. Why do you speak to middle school and high school students about turning obstacles into gifts? Another way I say it is obstacles into opportunities. I speak because at age 47, going on 40, age 46, going on 47, I have so many tools to turn my obstacles into opportunities, and with a speech impediment, I'm getting to use them all the time, and I become really adept at it, and keep learning more. But when I was in junior high and high school, I didn't have those tools. I didn't have a bigger perspective. In the absence of tools, in the absence of having a bigger perspective, I made very limiting assumptions about what could become of my life, and and at the age, with all the energy of puberty and adolescence, I was so attached to those assumptions. They didn't seem like just one possibility to, excuse me, one possibility to me. They seem like cold hard reality to me. Cold hard reality, and then, and when young people create a reality for themselves that seems very grim to them, but also like it has no possibility of changing. That's an extremely dangerous situation, because like at 13, 14, 15 years, just don't have the life experience to often to know that, hey, this thing seems really tough right now, but I'm going to get through it, and it's going to seem different in a day, or a week, or a month. And so I want to talk to young people about this, but not just talk to them and drone on about, oh, back in my day I was like this and like this and like this, and we didn't have the internet, and you know this and all. I want to involve them in the conversation, so they can begin to coach themselves almost, as I'm talking to them, and being vulnerable about my story. I want them to begin coaching themselves to to start thinking about what they would tell me if I was a friend and going through a hard time, and through coaching me, they begin coaching themselves, and begin thinking a little bit bigger, and having a few more options. And I do want to tell them to really challenge them to look for options when they feel like they are at a dead end. I mean, and the modern world is so challenging, but it does also have so many options. Just options at our fingertips. Could Google so many things right now. If like for example, if a young person put in Google, I'm being bullied, what should I do? I'm depressed, what should I do? If they start asking questions of Google, and trusted people around them, they'll start getting a variety of answers, and those answers will start giving them options, rather than the worst case scenario ricocheting to the head, and my nose just itched. So So, and and I've had so many good experiences talking to students over the years, but not kind of got out of the practice during the pandemic, because speaking at schools wasn't in the cards, and at first, during the pandemic, I didn't have any idea how to to make a lively Zoom talk. So I got out of the practice of talking to students. But in the last few months, I've been contacting schools and following them with emails, and I love that process. And I also talked to a small group of sixth and seventh graders at a church on Friday night, actually via Zoom. And I'm proud to say that the kids loved it. It was inspiring. And so if you're watching this now, or you're watching a replay, and suddenly a thought pops in your head of some kids you know, who are going through some stuff. Maybe the your kids, maybe the kids of friends, maybe know a school that's gotten through the pandemic, but times are still really challenging. And if you think if my message would be a good fit for any of these people, please connect us. I love connecting people when the connection makes sense. It feels so good to connect people, and I love being connected to new people when the connection makes sense, because that feels so good too. and 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 now this is amazing to think of, to see, like almost I've been talking for 2 hours 40 minutes. I've been in the seat talking for 2 hours 40 minutes. If you had told me I could do this and I could feel good about it like 10 years ago, I would be like, I don't do that. I don't do that. I love doing things I once thought I didn't do. Do you know what? Do you ever feel that way? That like you do you ever surprise yourself by doing something and well like oh I didn't know I could do that. My gosh, that's awesome. And so at the beginning of this, towards the beginning, I posed the question, what would be an A-Thon for you? I'm doing a speech impediment A-Thon. What would be something you really want to that do for yourself that would take you beyond what you think you're capable of? What and we all the answer will be different for all of us. Only you know that. I mean, I couldn't even begin to speculate on I mean some generic examples. I mean like maybe you're listening and you really want to have always dreamt of running a marathon, but have always talked yourself out of it. Maybe you literally want to run a marathon, but maybe you have a book in you that you want to write, and making you keep talking yourself out of it. So maybe you want to embark on a book writing a-thon, and that a-thon would go on for quite a while because it takes a while to write a book. But you 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 get the point. What a-thon would mean a lot to you, challenging, would be an occasion to surprise you by yourself. And got more comments. Oh, Jennifer, a sing-a-thon. I love it. Um, just brainstorming. What would a sing-a-thon look like to you, Jennifer? I mean, it gives me goosebumps thinking of you doing a sing-a-thon. What would that look like, though? Do you have any ideas? And Jennifer said, I just finished writing a new song today. That's so awesome. So awesome. And you're such a good writer. So exciting. Oh, I wanted to get to this question. I wanted to get to this question. Banner. Sometimes this be seamless. How did working and I just Ishmael, how did working at Sioux change your life? So, Sioux Vocational Services was the name of an organization known as the adult part of um of what's called Lifescape in Sioux Falls. So anyway, my first job after college is I got hired at Sioux Vocational Services to work with adults who had different kinds of developmental disabilities. And the developmental disabilities was the term at the time. It's not, it's labels like that don't they don't explain people at all. They I mean, it's just like saying, Jason, since you have a speech impairment, you must be like these 10 other people who have speech impairments. But no. I mean, life doesn't work that way. We might have the same trait, but each of our experiences are different. And each of the experiences in lives and fascinations in loves of the people who lived at Sioux was different. But one commonality is they all needed some kind of assistance in the to help them in their daily lives. Like, I mean, and that defines all of us. We all need assistance to live our daily lives. None of us live in a vacuum. But so anyway, my first position at Suvo was working in a house with 12 men who from probably age 20 to in his 60s who needed assistance, and gosh, they taught me so much about accepting myself as I was, and loving myself as I was, and sharing my gifts with the world, and instead of trying to hide my talents. I was hired to help them, and I had a lot of, I mean, we rotated jobs. Some days I was cooking, some days I was passing meds, some days I was helping people with personal hygiene needs. Some days I was taking people shopping. So I was working hard. But as much as I was helping them, they were giving back to me, and they were giving me kindness. They were giving me a more expansive view of myself. Oh, I just am so grateful. Well, I mean, I talked about Ina earlier, and there's so many people, and I don't have time to name them all, who led me to where I am doing the speech impediment A-Thon, including my parents, who who um who have always championed me, who have been diehard champions of me since I was a little kid. So we've been talking about the ripple effect we have on each other, And it's fun to think about how many people's energy got has helped me get here, including my own. I mean, I've had to decide that I really want this vision for my life, and I practice speaking over and over again, and and yes, many of my practices involved talking a little very robotically on Facebook Lives and not knowing what to say and talking about random stuff and there being long pauses because didn't know what to say next and so that many countless practices to get to this point. Not with the intention of doing a 3 hour um, speech impediment A-Thon. I forgot what I was doing for a second. Forgot the name. But with the intention of growing in my craft and growing in what I love to do. This brings up a point. We don't always have to. Sometimes we can just practice towards what we're passionate about without knowing what the end result will be. I say my dream is to touch millions of people in my lifetime through my speaking, and sometimes I think I've even said 100 million. And hopefully that happens. I know I'm going towards that, but I mean, regardless of whether that happens exactly in the way I envision or not, still my practice and my sharing and our conversations are enhancing our lives. So it's not like our practice. We always have to have this huge goal that we're definitely going to achieve to practice well. Practicing well is practicing well, and it accumulates and it gives confidence. And I'm in the last 10 minutes, almost in the last 7 minutes of speaking for 3 hours straight. Holy man, holy man, holy man. Holy man, and honestly, I had never done this before. I did not know beforehand if I could do this because I never have. But now I'm almost there. We don't know what we are capable of. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, parts of us like to say, oh, I know exactly, yeah, capable of this, but not that or that. But we don't know. We literally do not know until we try. And now, I mean, right now, this is fun. Right now, I'm going to have to or I don't know if I want to quit way at the 3 hour mark because I'm having fun and then I'm thinking, well, maybe do I want to do this once a month do a 3 hour thing and raise money for something and to be thinking of speaking for 3 hours once a month, that's crazy to me. I mean, that wasn't my reality. Like even earlier today, that you'll get to the 3 hour point and enjoy it, and have comments. Oh, first, Jennifer says I want to have 100 original songs to lift the world from a place of music. That's nice, and so I would invite you. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that you can write 100 original songs. In, in the next 10 years, that's a low goal. That to me is very obvious. So I would invite you like to say, what time limit do I want to set on this? Do I want to write 100 original songs? And set a time. Is it in the next 3 years, in the next 2 years, in the next year, in the next 6 months? I mean, we know you write great songs. You got it. 100 or okay, 100 songs in the next 2 years. I like that. 50 songs a year. See, see that it went from big goal to 100 songs in the next 2 years. It's really good. Does that feel good to you, Jennifer? I mean, that's the next question. Does that feel good to you? It sounds challenging. Does that challenge excite you? Is that something you want to go for? Those are questions to ask. Oh, and I love the answer. It's an Everest, but yes, it's an Everest. What's your personal Everest? What's a great question? That's a great question, Jennifer. And Daniel Dangerfield, Jason Freeman, your kindness will echo through all eternity, my friend. Oh, and, thank you, thank you. It's beautiful, beautiful thing. I felt that. I felt it, and I feel yours well too. As you always say, size matters, and talk about the ripple effect. You're constantly reminding people that small actions reverberate, that the small kindnesses reverberate. Thanks for being on the path you're on. Daniel says, holy man. Yes, thank you. Speaking for almost 3 hours is pretty exciting. Daniel Dangerfield says, Jason Freeman, I want to be known as someone who learned to reciprocate kindness by failing often. What a way to live the rest of your life. I am so excited for the presentation you are preparing for the group to see in a few weeks, and then for your eventual TEDx talk and probably eventually a TED Talk too. You have so much wisdom to share, my friend. And 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 40, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 59, 3 hours, yay! Yay! We did it, and it's taken a community, including you, Dangerfield, and you, Jennifer, like talking by myself to no one for 3 hours would be an exceedingly uninteresting experience. But you all came together to make this a powerful experience, and through this we raised money, we raised awareness not only about speech impairments, about the things we have in our lives that make us go, oh, maybe I'm not all that, but also we raise awareness about actions we can take to work with what we got to move forward. Like I have a speech impediment, same as I had when I was 3, same as I had in 4th grade, same as I had in 7th grade, same one, but it means entirely different things. Right now, this voice is part of the way I ripple goodness out into the world. It's a gift I share. And so I invite you to think of what's your next A-Thon in your own life. What do you want to show yourself that you can do? What do you want to experience? What capabilities do you want to develop and rejoice in and offer to other people? And I'm not saying to do any of this because you have to. You don't have to. I don't have to. But if it brings you delight, if you're ready for an adventure, try it because you can enhance your quality of life immeasurably and enhance the quality of life of the people around you. Congratulations! Woohoo! You're amazing, Jason Freeman. Yeah. Thanks. I celebrate with you both. This feels very good, and I'm very stunned that how natural this all seems. You don't have a speech impediment, my friend. For those that can hear you with more than they are suffering from a healing impediment. That's a nice way of thinking about it. Hopefully, I can I'll keep talking and keep working on. With practice, my voice will become clearer and clearer and clearer, and hopefully, at the same time, people will listen to me more and more and more, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle, and a lot of goodness will come from that. Truth, Daniel, truth is heard with the heart. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks for all who joined. And so many of you, and thanks for being here at the end, Jennifer and Dangerfield, and thanks you all for this amazing and inspiring conversation, and for helping me do something I never had done before, so I can expand my world, and hopefully your world will expand too. And if you're inspired, and it brings you joy to donate to Ukrainian refugees, the link is in the description. Please do it. And if it brings you joy to donate to other causes, or to use your money to further your own life right now, please do that. Please follow your heart. Thank you. So we're over 3 minutes. We're almost 3 minutes. We're way over 3 minutes. We're almost 3 hours, 7 minutes. We can expand beyond what we think we are capable of. Thank you all. Love you. Appreciate you. Thank you.